You know what, Sam?
What?
Jacob Slavin, something else, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Wow, Sam, game one. That was some game. But Sam, we do have a couple of home games coming up, and what what can they use at their disposal?
Well, not even at the home games. If you want to go take over Capital One Arena tomorrow night,
Yeah, you could too.
use promo code Caniac Report. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Again, it's your first purchase. So if you've already used an email, I don't know, come up with another one. I don't care how you utilize our promo code, whatever works, right? Go ahead and sign up for promo code Caniac Report, and that'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Butts in seats. Hurricanes fans in seats. So if you can't go to Capital One Thursday, you got a Saturday game. Sam, we have a playoff game on Saturday. It'll be
Yep.
Saturday night in Raleighwood. I am ready for the Hurricanes to come home. Hopefully, after being up 2-0, and maybe we can even close this one out early.
Yes, definitely. We would love to close this series against the Capitals out early, or should I say Capitals?
Capitals, oven chicken, whatever,
Evan Chicken. Yep.
whatever slander we want to use against Washington is acceptable.
Yeah, because we're Hurricane fans. What do you expect? But we also have a link for donations. So if you feel like you want to donate to us, there is a link to that in both the YouTube description if you're watching us and wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Spotify. And remember, if you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And also, if you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify, please leave a rating and a review. It really does help us out. And yes, we are doing an episode after every game. Obviously, this is coming out the night before because, Sam, there was overtime
Yes.
in this game.
Overtime.
Yes, and we actually got to see Wade. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But
Yep.
Sam, quite a bit of stuff has happened actually around the NHL. One thing I didn't want to talk about because we didn't talk about the series because it wasn't set up yet, Sam. But Dallas has moved on and has beaten Winnipeg not Winnipeg, Colorado in a
Yes.
dramatic fashion, and they're now going to be facing the Winnipeg Jets. Sam, that's going to be an interesting series right there. I think both teams are really good, but I think Dallas, I would say, has the edge there. What do you think about that series?
I think that series hedges completely on which Connor Hellebuck shows up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because we've seen the worst of Connor Hellbuck in the playoffs, and we've seen probably the best. So we'll see how that goes.
If Connor Hellebuck shows up and he is elite, it doesn't matter what Dallas throws at him. Connor Hellebuck's going to steal some games. That's just the kind of
Well,
player he is. He's that
I
good.
mean,
And I
Ottinger,
think he's
I would
he's
say
not
is
as good as
that good too.
Ottinger's not as good as Hellebuck. I think if you look at the numbers and you look at the stats from the season, Hellebuck's clearly the better goalie. The playoffs are a different story, and they're always a different story, right? You could have a great regular
They are.
season and a trashy playoffs. So if you get regular season Connor Hellebuck, then I think you're going to be in a really good situation. If you get first round Connor Hellebuck against the Dallas Stars, that's just not going to fly. Dallas is too gifted offensively to let that.
That's why I go with what's been mostly recent. And Hellbuck's performance in the first round was really recent, so that's why I kind of give Dallas
Yeah.
the edge.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I would put Dallas as an edge, too. But also, to be fair, like a little bit of me, a teeny tiny little bit of me, really wants there to be a Hurricane Stars Stanley Cup final.
Oh yeah, I'm sure because we'll see Rantanen in a Dallas jersey, and when he steps on foot at Lenovo, he's going to get very loud boos, Sam.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And another thing too, Sam, again, quite a bit of stuff, but one thing is the LA Kings and their former general manager now, it's because they parted ways, but Rob Blake, they have parted ways, Sam. And Apparently, they're wanting to go in a new direction. They keep getting knocked out in the first round. Sam, sounds like they're kind of the Washington Capitals of the West.
Yeah, it's they should have won that series.
Yeah, I think they should have too.
Plain and simple, they should have won that series. They were in position to win that series, and they could not get it done. And I mean, they have some weak spots, and I think that's probably why they recognized it's probably not a coaching problem as much as it's a personnel problem, is why they decided to move on from the general manager versus the head coach.
Yeah, and I mean, the Kings are a team. If you guys don't know that are listening to us, they're a team that is very good in goaltending and on defense. They are one of the best defensive teams in the league.
Helps when you have
And
Drew Doughty.
yes, it really does. But the offense is a little bit dry because I mean Kopitar, he's up there in age. He's not going to be able to sustain the amount of points that he has had in his early career with the Kings. You have Kevin Fiala that's really good,
Yeah, for
but
a
he's
Wild, I
not
believe.
he's not a 40 goal scorer. So it's just they need to add some offense, I would say.
Yeah, and I think they have an opportunity to do that. I mean, we've talked about a lot of the same players, right, that are available this free agency. Marner could be available. That could be a target if he wants to stay in a big market. LA makes a lot of sense.
Tavares.
Tavares, Duchesne,
Hmm.
offer sheet, Matthew Nyes. I don't know if they have the picks to do it, but it's a thought to have that there. Um, for the record, I think Carolina would be in a position to offer sheet Matthew Nyes. Um, but yeah, I mean, just because they're RFA doesn't mean teams have become pretty clear that they're not afraid to use the offer sheet. St. Louis being the most recent example of that. So we're talking a lot more about UFAs, but LA could explore the RFA section too.
They could. I think it's going to be difficult though to do RFAs because the salary cap is going up, and when it goes up for all the teams. So
Oh, but it's true. But if you're like Dallas, that's not going to do you any good.
no,
Right. So, I mean, say if they had an RFA Carolina, like say Logan's like, say Logan Stankoven, right? He's up
Hmm.
next year, not this year, but next year. And if he had stayed in Dallas, that could have been an instance where Carolina leveraged cap space and offered like a
Yep.
1 year, $9 million contract. And I mean, that's something a team like Carolina could do to Toronto and be like, all right, Matthew Nyes, here's one by 10.
Yeah, I mean
And
they
if he
could.
signs, Toronto can't match. Like they're not in a position to match.
Yeah, they're not. So it's going to be interesting on the RFA statuses for quite a few of these teams, and we'll be sure to keep an eye also on the LA Kings. I always try to keep an eye on all the teams, see what they're up to. And Sam, another thing too, this happened Monday night, but the draft lottery results came in Monday night, and we have two teams that have went up in the draft standings, and that is the Utah Hockey Club went up from I believe 14th to 4. Big jump for Utah. And not to mention, it's no longer the Utah Hockey Club anymore. Sam
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
Utah Mammoths.
Yeah, interesting. I think that was a pretty consistent favorite.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love the logo though. Have you seen
yeah,
the Mammoth logo?
yeah, it looks pretty good. Good for Utah getting their stuff together. They had a good year. I mean, for where they were, where they fell. I mean, and what they ended up getting as a pick in
Yeah,
the
I know.
draft. I mean, you gotta think Utah is thinking this year was a success, right? Yeah, you came pretty darn close to making the playoffs, just fell short, and you get a top 5 draft pick. I mean, it's hard to ask for more than that.
It really is. And I think this proves, Sam, that that the lottery is not rigged. They even did the whole process live in front of everyone.
Yeah, that was nice. I enjoyed the live aspect. Um, disappointed that the Islanders got the first overall pick, but I think the reality is as well. This draft, from my understanding, isn't a deep draft.
No, it's
So,
not.
and they're going to draft a defenseman, which isn't going to affect their needs.
Yeah. Well, what I could see is I could see them being like, okay, so we'll probably have a surplus of defensemen. I'm not saying Schaefer is ready to play by next season, but if he is, then the Islanders could look to moving one of their defensemen and try to add more scoring because we know both you and I know, Sam, one of the Islanders' weaknesses is goal scoring.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about us that being a weakness for us. I mean, it's nothing compared to the Islanders' lack of offensive talent.
Yes, definitely. So
They have what, two guys, Barzell and Besser, and that's it. No, not Besser. Is it
no, not
Besser?
Besser.
Who is
No,
it?
no. Bo
Barzell and
Horvat.
Horvat. I knew it was a former Canuck, and
Yeah,
that's it. So I can't think of anyone else. They don't have Nelson anymore because he went to play in Colorado this year.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting for the Islanders. I don't like it because they're a divisional opponent, Sam.
Yeah,
But
better
I
them than
mean,
the Rangers.
yes, better than them than the Rangers. And also, I love the format on how they did it because they did it with like obviously they put balls numbered 1 to 14 uh into that syringe thing, whatever.
Yeah,
But they did to where there were combinations of how teams could win, and I thought that was very fascinating. So I enjoyed watching it, Sam. And regardless, I mean, I hate that the Islanders did win, but
yep, that's what it
it
is.
is what
But
it is. What is it's a lot better than Boston or Pittsburgh or the Rangers. Oh man, I would have had a bit of an aneurysm probably if they won. But most important thing, Sam, Hurricanes are not in the draft lottery because they are playing playoff hockey.
yeah,
And speaking of the Hurricanes, we retired his number this season, but there was news on Eric Stahl
yeah,
as he became special advisory to, I believe, the general manager and Kevin Adams up in Buffalo. So congrats to him, Sam.
yeah. Good for Eric Stahl. I guess he decided he wanted to get a little bit into management. He's
Yeah,
going into a rough situation, to say the
very
least. But
rough.
maybe it's what it takes as a guy who, by the way, played in that organization. So it's a and he's friends with Kevin Adams. He won a Stanley Cup with Kevin
Yep.
Adams. These are two guys who knows what it takes to win a cup. So we'll see if these guys can together maybe figure out the winning formula to get back Buffalo back onto the winning ways. That fan base is starved for the playoffs. I have a lot of sympathy for that fan base, as much as we were rivals of them back in the early to mid 2000s, like 2000 probably 3 up through 2010, 2011, um maybe even to like the 20 teens. But I mean, as a fan of a team who missed the playoffs for about a decade, yeah, it's I have a lot of sympathy for an organization that's been through what Buffalo has. It's a lot to continue to watch your team lose year after year after year after year, and sometimes you're in the mushy middle, right? And that's
Yes.
just unfortunate.
Yes, definitely. And Sam, as we're kind of sort of in the hurricane stage here in our episode, there was an injury that did happen in the game last night. Mark Jankowski got hurt. He did not return.
Yeah,
But Sam, apparently there are somewhat good news, as Brimore did say that it wasn't serious.
yeah,
So I think that's good.
yeah. I think I saw something today that it would be a game time decision tomorrow. So, or tonight, depending on when you're listening to the podcast. So, game time decision. So, my expectation is if he misses tomorrow, he'll be back Saturday.
Yeah, I do
It
too.
sounds like it's a game at max that he misses.
Yeah, it really does sound like that. So it's game two at Washington. Do you put in? I mean, I guess you probably do put in Jack Roslovic, and I
Yeah, I
think to
don't.
me that's a no-brainer. I know Adam Gold said maybe Tyson Jost, but I'm just like, but Roslovic is to me just the better player overall. I would
So,
say
so you
compared to
started the
Jost.
playoffs with Roslovic. Um, so my expectation is that's where Rod goes again.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think the only reason Yankowski got in was because we lost game three. So it was just a switch, right? Just go ahead and put another guy in because I think Roslovic had a pretty poor game that game. So I was like, all right, Yankowski, you're up. But I think against the Caps, where you're like, okay, yeah, one physicality, but I think last night showed not only do you have that, and I think you have that with everybody else, you might need a little bit more offensive talent, especially if the offense continues to be a little bit scarce
Yeah.
for both teams. I think having maybe that one other guy who's gored 20 plus goals in their lineup is not a bad thing to have. And I know just again the conversation was taking Ghost. I guess Adam was saying that people were saying Ghost needs to come out for Nikishin. That's just not going to happen. The comparable there isn't there. If Ghost comes out, my expectation would be Morrow to come in. I think if you're looking at Nikishin coming in, it's got to be like a Chatfield or a Walker kind of situation. Someone who's maybe a little bit more all around player because my guess is you'd want to replace offense with offense. So uh,
Yeah.
a power play specialist and Mora would make more sense to replace your first quarter power play quarterback. But
Yeah. I think
Ghost is not coming out because of performance. That's the point. He's not coming out because of performance. Yes, he had the one play that ended up on the stick of Ryan Leonard, who went in on a breakaway. Fortunately, he saved it. That was a horrific play by Gostisbehere, but it was saved. So it's at the end of the day, it's we lived through it. But
yes, we did.
I understand the want of Nikishin playing. I do. I sympathize with it, and you all know I really want him to play. As of this moment, I think the Blue Liners have been playing so well. I can't think of a situation where I would take out. And my top guys to take out, as you all know, are Orlov and Burns. And right now, I think they've been playing too good to take out. And I think you
I do
reward
too.
that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And well, you know what, Sam? Let's go ahead, get to a sponsor, and then we'll recap game number one. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high skates drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right, game number one. For the record, Sam and I were actually at the ale house for the first two periods of the game. And Sam, that was really fun. We got to see Wade Minter.
Yeah, Wade, Jatovi, and company were there. That was fun. I think we're planning to go back tomorrow night or tonight. So if you see us, feel free to say hello. We'll be there enjoying the game and a couple of beverages and some food and appetizers and whatever else we can sink our teeth into, and
Yeah.
enjoy the experience. It's fun. Maybe we'll stay for the whole game this time. I was just exhausted yesterday, so I left after the second. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll have a good time, and it's a fun experience. So if you get a chance to get out to the ale house in Cary, go for it. Sam and I will currently are planning on being there again tomorrow.
Yeah, we definitely are. And I mean, what's nice, Sam, about that is like we could literally walk to it because of where our apartment is.
Yes.
So that's really nice. But Sam, first period, I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna say this. Other than probably the second period, I thought the Hurricanes were just dominant
Yep.
in this game. They really were. The only thing I would say probably about the Hurricanes, probably maybe some advice for game two is probably getting a little bit more uh high scoring danger chances because I thought Washington, even though Carolina was really, really good, I thought they were dominant. At the same time, I thought Washington did pretty good of helming us to the outside of the perimeter. So
Yeah.
it was a good game though.
It was a good game. I think it does. It's that wasn't a game that you'd probably be like, oh, that's going to build the fan base up. It was a
No,
boring game. It was a boring game. It was a trap kind of game. Kind of how Washington played last year.
yeah, it was,
To a
but they're very
degree.
selective of their shots. We talked about this in the preview.
Yeah.
They're very picky.
They're very picky. I don't know how that's going to work in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
I don't. We'll see. It did not work game one. We'll see if they change it up game two. One of their best chances was by Ovechkin, expected. But if you continue to keep him off the scoreboard, your chances of winning the game go up a lot. He's their top scorer, and you kept him off the board in a game one, right? And I mean, first two periods, not a lot to talk about because there just wasn't a lot of action
No,
in
there
those
wasn't.
first two periods. Carolina outshot them, but the Caps had a lot of blocks. So even then, we didn't have a lot of shots on goal in the entire game, and neither did Washington. But that's our MO is shot suppression and shot generation, which is what we did again. But Carolina was dominant. Just because the shots were coming from the point didn't mean that we weren't getting chances. But that's the point. You shoot them from the net. You shoot them from wherever you can, and you get a goal in the third by Stankoven off a turnover. It was a great opportunity, and he ripped it high glove and put Carolina on path to get that game to overtime.
Yeah, you mentioned Stankoven. That was such a great goal by
Yeah.
him. And what was great, I mean, it was a turnover from Washington. And I think another player you give credit to on that play, who I thought played his best game. I will admit, not the biggest fan of him, but I thought he played his best game in the playoffs Monday night, or sorry, Tuesday night. And I thought that was KK. You played very well.
Yes, I
Because
agree.
he's the one that passed it to Stankoven.
Yes, it was a great pass. He finally got the point that you wanted.
Yes, he did.
Um,
And Stankoven, 3 goals in this playoff series, Sam. My gosh, he has been fantastic, most notably in game ones. So, I mean, I know we call Justin Williams Mr. Game 7. He could be nicknamed Mr. Game 1, Sam, just because he loves getting goals in game ones, apparently.
yeah, Mr. Game 1, Mr. Game 7. Yeah, so good for Stankoven. It was a great goal.
Yeah, it was. No, as much needed too. And Sam, obviously in the second period, though, I mean, heading into the third, Washington was up 1-0, and it was frustrating though because again, I thought the Cranes were playing pretty good even after the Protoss goal. I thought Carolina got back to playing a very good, aggressive hockey. One of the best road games I've seen from them. And you have Protoss scoring. Sam, I think that's a goal that I would like to see Anderson make a save there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's the save you probably want. But I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time because we won the game. So
Yes, and he made a couple very good
yeah,
saves.
kept us in
I
the game.
mean,
When
the
Ryan Leonard had the breakaway, that could have
yep,
ended the night.
the Leonard breakaway, the Ovechkin slap shot on the power play.
Yep.
And there were just a couple instances where Anderson looked really, really good. I mean, you had obviously Logan Thompson on the other end of the ice. Did you think he? I mean, obviously, I thought. I mean, when you're facing that many shots, I mean, you do a very good job. But do you think that he got a lot of quality actual chances instead of just flux planing to his chest?
I don't think the shots were really quality. I mean, he had to make some good saves and not taking that from him,
They
but
kept aiming glove high. That's what I noticed with the
they
Hurricanes.
did, and that was interesting. But I mean, I thought Thompson had a good game. He faced more shots. He had to work more, but I don't know if I would say like all of those were quality. I think it's quantity a lot of times over quality. But when you get that many opportunities, you're going to inevitably get quality chances as well off of rebounds and stuff like that. So the quantity leads to the quality opportunities.
Yes. And speaking of some quality opportunities, Sam, I see from what was counted, we had 5 quality opportunities that hit off of the goalpost. Like,
Yeah.
my goodness, that was so frustrating. Svetch had 2 goalposts that he hit.
So the reality with all those posts is Carolina could have won that game in regulation, and I think that's just a reality of the situation. But it gives me hope for this series. I think this series, if Carolina wins tonight or tomorrow, depending on when you listen, uh, that could be a huge momentum shift. And I think Carolina wins this series in 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, I do too, because I mean the way Carolina plays at home. I mean, I'm not saying that they've been playing bad on the road in the playoffs. They already got 2 wins, one
Yeah,
at New Jersey and one this game. But it's just at home, Carolina. I mean, yeah, you had that first period dud in game 5. Other
yeah,
than that, Carolina is spectacular at home, and they really feed off of the crowd.
yeah,
So it's very difficult to win against the Hurricanes at their place. So I do think if the Hurricanes do win, then we could possibly sweep them. If
yeah,
they don't win, though, Sam, honestly, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to be probably happy with the loss, but it's something like, oh, they can afford it because you know why? They have home ice advantage now
yep,
after this loss to the Capitals.
yep. Carolina has home ice advantage. All they have to do is win all 3 at home. That's it. You don't have to win another game in Washington to win the series. You don't. You can win this in 6. You just win at home.
Yes, definitely. Just win at home. So great win. And Sam, this does get into overtime.
Yep.
And that goal in overtime, it was actually pretty quick. It only took 3 minutes, which I was kind of happy about. That was kind of
Yeah.
quick. Uh, because I couldn't do, I don't know if I could do another second overtime. I mean, I'd still watch it just because of how loyal I am of a Hurricanes fan. But boy, going through over 2 overtimes is a pain.
Oh, absolutely. Thank God. Thank God it was over and we won.
Yeah, and it was Slavin who won it. And Sam, it was a shot from the point, as a lot of people were saying last night, including the commentators, being like, the Hurricanes shoot from the point a lot, but they keep getting blocked. Not that one.
No, not that one. That one got through, and it went in, and Carolina wins the game in overtime to take a 1-0 series lead on the leading Eastern Conference champions.
Yes, what a great win. So Sam, since we won, what were your 3 stars be for this game?
I think Jacob Slavin had a heck of a game. So obviously Jacob Slavin's my number 1 star, game-winning goal, elite defenseman. Freddie Anderson, I think number 2, really had a solid game. He wasn't tested a lot, but he had to make some big saves. And I think 3rd star Logan Stankoven got us back in the game with a great shot, glove side. But yeah, it was an excellent effort tonight.
Yeah, it really was. To me, I'm go 3-1. You went 1-3. So to me, my 3rd star is going to be. Oh, this is going to be a little bit tough because I mean, I like Anderson. I thought he played very well, but he didn't get a lot of action. So I just don't know if I put him in the 3-star category. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to put. Yeah, I'm gonna put KK as number 3
Okay.
because I did think he played really good. And then number 2, I'm gonna say. Oh, actually, I'll leave KK number 3. Honorable mention to Sveshnikov because I thought he continues to
Yeah.
impress in the playoffs.
Yes.
Number 2, Stankoven, becoming one of my. He's probably slowly going to become my favorite forward here soon.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time,
Yep.
not if. And then number 1, Jacob Slavin, my all-time favorite hockey player. Just love the guy to death.
Yeah.
I was so happy. And
Yeah.
what was funny is he said he didn't even know he scored until Jordan Stahl screamed, and he was like, "What?"
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Good for Stalzy
Yeah,
and for Slavin. That line I thought was excellent tonight.
yeah. And another thing too, I mean, there was some physicality in this game too.
Sure.
And what's interesting though, when I looked at the game after it ended, the Capitals had 31 hits, Carolina 44 hits.
Carolina dominated the game from top to bottom.
Oh, they did. But my gosh, that a little bit surprised me because we know Washington is a lot more physical
Yeah.
of a team than Carolina. But Carolina, I thought, showed in that dominancy
Yeah.
that they're not going to be pushed around. And I love seeing that. Obviously, to me, the biggest hit probably Washington had was Ovechkin laying the
Yep.
hit on Jarvis.
Yep.
But Carolina laid a couple. Jordan Stahl laid a huge hit in that game, I believe. So I was like, man, we're delivering some hits. I like it. So great win. And a funny encounter, Sam. Tom Wilson and Sebastian Aho. We know Aho, if you watch him, his mouth guard, he likes, I mean, obviously he has to wear it, but when he's not wearing it, he likes to chew on it, all that type of stuff. Sam Wilson just came up to him and be like, no, I'm taking that mouth guard from your mouth. Remember that?
Yeah,
That was just so funny.
that was whatever. Tom Wilson's a punk.
He is, but you have to admit that was funny. I laughed at that.
Yeah, he should have gotten a penalty for it.
What?
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct. It's a penalty.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. But yeah. I mean, what do you think of the officiating? Do you think it was fine that game? It was
Yeah,
fine.
it was fine. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with it. Thought it was fair.
Yeah, so great win. Well, Sam, move on to game 2. Hopefully they can get a little bit more chances. Carolina can. What?
Game number 2. And hopefully Carolina will go up 2-0.
I hope so. But no stress for this game for me. Really.
No.
I'm just happy.
No stress
for me.
Sam, final score, Carolina Hurricanes 2, Washington Capitals 1.
Yes. And what's your prediction for game 2?
Carolina is going to surprise. They're going to win that game 4-1.
4-1, really. I'm going to predict Carolina wins 3-2.
Okay.
In that game. No overtime, though. No overtime. So we will see you guys after game number 2.